Hey, welcome back. I'm Lucas, and tonight I've got another story ready to ease you into sleep. Take a moment, settle into your space, and let's begin. Velvet by Candlelight by Lana Vale. Julian always took the long way home in Paris. Not scenic, exactly, but quiet. One with too many cracked cobblestones and too few people. The one that passed a storefront with no name, just thick burgundy curtains behind glass and a brass doorbell too weathered to work. He passed it again on an unremarkable Wednesday, when the rain dribbled, the way Paris liked to pretend it wasn't really raining at all. This time, the curtains were drawn back, just slightly. The air smelled like amber and memory. The smell stopped Julian in his tracks. Inside, a single candle flickered behind glass. The scent it carried was sharp and floral, like citrus caught mid-blossom. It clung to the air like silk. Then he heard it a voice. Male, low and smooth. You may as well come in. I don't bite. Not without warning anyways. Julian startled, then laughed, softly, more out of surprise than anything. He pushed the door open. It chimed like an old piano key. Inside, the space was dim but warm. Velvet-lined walls, wooden counters, bottles arranged like miniature cathedrals of light. The only source of flame was a candelabra in the far corner, its glow catching on the gold in a man's ring as he turned a tiny glass stopper. I wasn't sure you were real, Julian said. The man didn't look up. And yet in you came. I pass by often. I know. He finally glanced up. His eyes were a strange kind of grey, like stone in winter light. His hair was dark, a bit too long at the temples, and his shirt was open at the collar in a way that felt both deliberate and not. I'm Adrien. Julian. Adrien nodded once. You smell like rosemary and wet wool. Sit. I'll fix it. Julian blinked, half offended, then laughed. I suppose that's fair. The chair was old, carved from cherry wood, and worn at the edges. Julian sat, and Adrien began to move. He didn't walk so much as glide, like a man whose feet knew music even in silence. He lifted a small bottle, uncorked it, and leaned in. Close your eyes. Julian obeyed. The first scent was warm, musk and something sweet, honeyed wood, then spice, then something Julian couldn't place. What's that? Cardamom and regret. Julian opened his eyes quizzically. Adrien smiled. Kidding. It's figure, but your reaction was worth it. Julian tried to stay composed, but something in his chest shifted. Adrien held the bottle toward him. This one is yours. Mine? You wear it like it remembers you. Julian took the bottle, turned it in his hand. You talk like a poet. How very Parisian. He murmured to himself. I talk like someone who spends too much time alone. They stood there, caught in the air between them. The candlelight danced along Adrien's jawline. Julian realized then he was holding his breath. He didn't leave that night. Not right away. Anyways, they moved into the back room, a studio cluttered with oils and dried petals and notes scrawled in both French and something else, more abstract. Adrien poured red wine into chipped cups and offered Julian a stool. They spoke of scent and sadness, of how grief isn't a thing that fades, just one that changes its shape. Adrien told him the shop had been his mother's once, that she'd passed a few winters ago, that he'd left his career in finance behind to reopen the place for the ghosts. "Do they come?" Julian asked. "Some nights," Adrien said. "Some lovers don't leave." Julian looked around the room. There were no photos or books, or any type of memorabilia, just rows upon rows of bottles, lined up like confessions. "You're good at this," he said. Adrien raised an eyebrow. "I mean it," Julian continued. "You make this feel personal, like the perfume was meant just for me." Adrien looked down, swirled his wine. "Most people want to be remembered. I just want to be inhaled." Then, without lifting his gaze, he added, "That one's yours." Perfume is a signature, like a thumbprint meant to call to you, and only you. Julian wasn't sure what to say to that, but he wanted to stay anyway. He let the silence sit between them. Then, gently, he asked, "What is its name?" gesturing to the bottle in his hand. Adrien looked up, met his gaze fully for the first time. Ludapris. Julian's breath caught. Ludapris afterglow. How inappropriate, yet fitting. Later, much later, when the candles burned low and the wine was gone, Adrien offered him the guest room upstairs. Julian hesitated at the doorway. His fingers touched the velvet curtain that hung like a breath. "I don't normally do this." "I know." Adrien stepped back, gave him space, gave him the option to turn away. But Julian didn't. He turned quietly, pulled the curtain closed behind him. The bed was small, the sheets were old, but Julian slept like he hadn't in months. In the morning, the light filtered in soft and shy. He woke to find a note on the nightstand, written in Adrien's delicate looping script. "Now I'll always know your scent. Return if the night ever tempts you to. Just bring your voice." Julian smiled, tucked the note into his coat. Outside, the sky smelled like rain again. If you're still awake, thank you for sharing this quiet moment with me. When you're ready for another story, I'll be right here.